Hey there, guys. This is Faith Hunter. How are you guys doing? And I'm here with my mother, Hazel Hunter. Mom, you want to say hi?
Hello, how are you?
And we definitely first want to say Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas to everybody.
So I told you guys last week that I would bring my mother on. As you know, this is Christmas, but also it is Sunday. And what I've decided to do, I will be doing these live video feeds every single Sunday. Doesn't matter where I am in the world, I will be coming to talk to you guys about something. And the day will be called, because I do a lot of tweeting and Instagramming and Facebooking, and on Sundays I typically do hashtag Sacred Sunday. And so Sacred Sunday will now turn into a video chat about something that is resting on my heart. And Sacred Sunday will definitely be about off the mat, unless I bring you a meditation practice. So that will be the only difference. No asana at all. I'm not going to be doing any yoga postures or anything. It will be all about talking about what's going to help us heal, keep us connected, find a sense of love, passion, all of those things that make us, all of us, not just me, but make you spiritually fly. And this is our Sacred Sunday chat. So I figured Sacred Sunday chat would be perfect to have my mom join me on this, because my mom and I've shared my personal story so much, and I know some of you guys have heard me talk about it in classes and workshops that I've taught. You've also probably read it on my website, or you may have seen me do another talk. I've did some other speeches where I shared my personal story, but this story isn't just mine. It's not just my way that I was introduced to the practice of yoga and how the practice of yoga and meditation assist me in being a better person and being that person that's going to show up fully and completely. But this story actually is a story of my whole family. And so I wanted to bring my mother on, since I am in Louisiana, and have her share not just, and I'll go back in a little background for those of you that may not know, but I want her to share what are some of those things that have helped her over the past almost 20 some years since Michael died.
Yes.
I think it's, yeah. So for those of you that may not know, if this is a new story to you, my older brother as well as my younger brother were diagnosed with HIV in the 80s, right around the outbreak of AIDS. Unfortunately, my older brother Michael, who was actually a physician, which my mom is definitely, as a mother, very, 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 very proud that he was a gynecologist, OBGYN, and graduated from Xavier University and graduated from UCLA. Correct, Mom?
Right.
In UCLA. And he practiced for a while. However, in the process of him going through residency, is that it? When he was going through his residency, unfortunately, all of the complications and things related to AIDS took his body. However, what is really, really powerful, and what is my personal driving force around every single thing, and like, guys, I'm serious, every single thing that I do when I wake up in the morning, I'm inspired, I'm moved, and I am motivated. I get off my butt because I know that that's exactly what my brother would do. And I am inspired by his spirit. So therefore, his spirit continues to live in my heart. So what I want to have my mom do, and I'm going to ask her a couple of questions and I'll kind of interject, is I want her to first share what she does when she wakes up in the morning. Like, what do you do?
The first thing I do, I sit around on the side of my bed and I have to say a prayer. I ask God just to thank Him for allowing me to wake up this day. And by that, I can go forward with my day with God by my side.
Nice, nice. Well, the funny thing, guys, and fascinating part is that I don't know if I got this from my mother or what, but I do the exact same thing. When I first wake up in the morning, I don't lean over the side of my bed, but what I do is I wake up, and if my eyes are still closed, and I've shared this a couple of times, I give thanks. And I give thanks to, to God. I give thanks to the divine. I give thanks to being alive. I give thanks for all of the amazing blessings that have showed up in my life, and that I'm awake and I'm alive. So when Michael died, it was difficult, definitely, for all of us, and even just seeing him go through the pain and the suffering in the hospital. And I heard my mom on the phone a couple of days ago. I was actually here in her bed. We're actually in my mom's bed. I love her wallpaper. But we were here in my mom's bed. I was here in my mom's bed, and she was on the phone with one of her friends. And she was talking to one of her friends and really giving her friends some amazing sound advice on how to get through. And the pain doesn't go away. It still exists. But how do you go through and continue to be positive and to be strong, and not only be strong for herself, but be strong for us? Because
Yes.
you are, and I say this all the time, you are definitely my inspiration as well, and one of my driving forces, and the first strong woman that showed up in my life was this woman. So how do you do it, and what was some of that advice you were sharing?
Well, each and every day, I have to thank God for Hazel. And I also have to thank God for my family. And since Michael being gone, there was never a day that I forgot. It seemed as if it was yesterday. And each day, it's that particular person that I think about. I have a picture of him on my dresser, and I look at that picture each and every day. But it wasn't the same when he first passed. I went to California to pick up his things, and I had 13 boxes of books. Those books stayed in their boxes for 5 years, and I could not pull myself to open those boxes because it was such a tragedy for me not to have Michael there. And one day, my nephew came, Keith Amos, came and said, Aunt Hazel, we got to open the boxes. And they were still on the foyer. And so finally we opened the boxes, and then we attempted to open the door to the foyer. We could not. But after we opened the door, then that was an opportunity for me to open my heart to Michael again. And I just went from there to where I am now. Each day, it's just like it was the day that Michael passed away. Because you never forget, you just move on. You do things each day, but you never forget it. And that's the way I feel. And I was telling my friend the other day, no matter what happened, it's God's will. And we have to look at that because it is a blessing. It's a blessing for what God has done for me in my heart and all. You know, when Michael was in the hospital, I prayed. I prayed so hard one night looking over Tulane Avenue. Said, God, take my child because he's in so much pain. And then I thought, did I pray the right prayer? And it took me a long time to pray and ask God for forgiveness for questioning his will. And I know now it was God's will, and I will never question it again because I know that Michael's in a better place and he's always looking down upon us. And that's why I try to do everything in my heart to help another mother who loses a child, because it is nothing like losing a child and you never forget the moment that he takes his last breath. And I just continue to ask God to help me, and God helped me, and I know I'm blessed. I know I'm blessed each and every day. God blesses me, and he give me the strength to keep moving on. And I'm a very active person, so I just have to just keep going, keep going, keep going.
Can you let everybody know how old you are?
Oh, I'm 75 years old. I made 75 December the 4th or December the 3rd. I don't know which one it is. It's a long story about my birthday. But I celebrate each one of them, and I'm proud to celebrate them.
So this morning, oh my God, it was really difficult, guys. I'm not going to lie. It was really difficult for me to wake up this morning and go to church with my mother at 8 a.m. And so it was the church that I grew up in New Rocky Valley Baptist Church. And so we went to church, and my mother's pastor, Reverend Sumner, is that correct? Mm-hmm. Reverend Sumner, he delivered a beautiful, beautiful Sunday, sacred Sunday service. And while he was in service, I'm all about taking notes. I'm like, you know, the guru, right? We talk about the guru a lot in yoga class, and he was definitely a guru this morning. And as I was taking notes, as he was talking, and as my mom now just talked about blessings, one of the things and one of the passages that he said, or his own personal statements, it was just like this beautiful mantra within itself, was God balances the blessings, right? Blessings are balanced, right? Remember him saying that?
Right.
And he balances the blessings, right? Or she, right? For those of you that are like, you know, God is female, because, you know, guys, I'm all about the divine feminine. So she, the divine, balances the blessings with suffering sometimes, and not just personal suffering, right? But tragic things may happen in our lives, but when that happens, you can guarantee
that he would give a positive blessing.
Yes.
Rather than a negative, he's going to always come back with that positive blessing.
Yeah.
And you have to remember that no matter what happened in your life, God is going to balance it out with that positive blessing.
Yeah.
And that is the most important thing, is just to continue working for God. You may have ups and downs, but it's going to be more ups than downs. And you have to look at it from that standpoint.
Yeah. And you know, the thing is, guys, it's like, you know, my mother is definitely, and I grew up in the Baptist church, and my mother is definitely very, very spiritual and religious and believes in God. But for those of you, because I know I have lots of followers that may not, and you know what the really beautiful part is, and I think sometimes within the context of religion, people get caught up in the words and in the phrases and sometimes the teachings, but all of what we are talking about today goes beyond that. It's universal, right? Because at the end of the day, what God is, what Allah is, what Jesus is, what the Buddha is, right? Within all of those teachings and all of the other ones, right? What that is love, right? At the end of the day, love for yourself, as my mother was saying, love that happens she had to first wake up and be thankful for herself, be thankful for everything else, right? Love transcends race, creed, religion. Love transcends and gets us through the pain and the suffering. So it doesn't matter if you are really attached to one particular religion, or you never ever step foot in a church or a synagogue. It's like none of that even matters. The blessings, the miracles, the magic, the love happens to us every single day, but we have to be open. And trust me, guys, this is not a sermon today. This is still my sacred Sunday, because I'm gonna bring it right back. But another thing that Reverend Sumner said this morning was, as beings, as humans, here on this earth, we get lost in sin. And when he said that, the thing that came to my mind was, when I think about myself going into a state of meditation. And I remember talking to my mom about meditation, and what she does, what she calls her meditation is your prayer.
Yes.
Your prayer, right? My meditation, I'm not praying, but I am allowing myself to be connected and tapped in and plugged into the divine within and the divine outside, right? And when he said that, it reminded me of, whoa, us as human beings are lost in sin, meaning for me that my sin is my own pain and suffering that may be personally inflicted, right? Or I'm attaching myself to something. Sorry, that's our alarm on our door. Maybe attached to something negative that someone else had said, or I'm holding on to a grudge, right? If someone has done something wrong to me, I'm holding on to that. Also, when he said that, I also immediately thought about my brother and how angry I was for many, many years, not just at the doctors, but the whole system. I was also angry at God. Like I've mentioned this. You were too.
Yeah, I even talked about that in one of my Sunday school classes. I told Reverend Sumley how angry I was when my son passed away. I was angry at God, and I had to do a lot of praying to get over it. And it took a long time for me to pray and to continue praying. God, forgive me for being so angry at him.
Yeah.
And it was the same way when I lost my baby sister. I had to pray so hard to get over that. But now I look back and I said, whatever happened, it's God's will. And I truly believe in that. And when we get together as a group, the deaconesses get together, we pray. And we know how powerful prayer is. And it can be so powerful no matter what. It's God's will.
Yeah.
And our prayer is for each and every one to understand God's will.
Yeah. So what I also want to just kind of like bring it back and soon to wrap this up, because my mom needs to take a nap. We just had dinner, so it's time to take a nap. Is that, regardless of where you are in the world, regardless of who you are, regardless of your religious beliefs or non-religious beliefs, regardless of your spiritual beliefs or zero spiritual beliefs, like none of that really matters. It's that at the end of the day, we can't hold on. We have to let go. Kind of wrapping back to what Reverend Sumner said, is we get lost in our sin. We get lost in our minds, right? We get lost in the pain. We get lost in the fear. We get lost in the anger. We allow ourselves to hold on through the internal suffering. And as my mother shared a few minutes ago, when she finally unpacked those boxes, that was the moment of freedom for her. And she was able to love again, right? So circling back, how powerful love is. Like it transcends, it goes beyond anything, and it has the capacity to break down the thoughts, the negativity, the frustration, the fear, and even the self-inflicted pain and suffering. Because I did that. Right? I was angry. And so that was like constantly self-inflicting suffering every single day. Every time I was like thinking about it, I would get mad. And that's internally creating disease in my own body, which I recognized in my early 20s. I had a fibroid tumor. Like, I know for a fact that suffering, pain, anger, and frustration was a result. Like, it just built up and built up and built up. And since then, once I let go, I opened my heart, and my mother found her way through one path, right? And as Rumi says, there are 100 ways to kneel in prayer. Rumi says this. Rumi, the Sufi poet. So regardless of what path you may take to finding and connecting to your sense of love, do that for yourself. No one else can do this for you. My mother had her way of dealing with it. I had my way through my meditation practice, through my yoga practice, through my constant breathing, through my reading and personal reflection. And I tell my mom this often, especially when I first became a yoga teacher, it's like my yoga practice, my meditation practice brought me back to God, brought me back to believing in the miracles, believing in the blessings, believing in the magic, and giving me the strength to be present so I can be there and be open to the love, to the miracles, and to the blessings. Because if you're not awake, if you're sleeping in your anger and your fear and your frustration, right, and on your own personal suffering, your eyes are closed to what is there for you, meaning that power of blessings, the opportunities, the things that are bound to happen because you are there and open, right? Those beautiful moments of, right? Yes, I did it. Those happy, joyous moments. If your eyes are closed and you're in the darkness, right? And you're plugged in to the pain, it's impossible to see the light. Absolutely impossible. So on this sacred Sunday, on Christmas, I want to say thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I want to say thanks to my mother for doing this. This is her first time jumping in front of the camera. This is her first time. So I'm so excited that she joined me, and even just this moment right here is a blessing within itself. So I'm gonna let her take her nap, and I want to say thank you again, guys, and of course I will see you next Sunday sometime. I'll announce the time, but it's Sacred Sunday. Enjoy your Christmas wherever you are, with whatever family you have, whatever form that comes in. Come back in the camera, Mama, come back, you're part of this. And just be present with your family, and whatever your family looks like, enjoy them. And even Reverend Sumner said that this morning, or was it Deacon Washington?
Deacon Washington.
It was Deacon Washington. He said, enjoy and give thanks for your family, not just on Christmas, but every single day. So when you wake up tomorrow, give thanks for your family and let them know how much you love them in whatever shape or form your family comes in, right? Thank you so much, guys. Have a beautiful, blessed, sacred Sunday. And of course, I'll see you around, and stay spiritually fly.